Bree here from Made by Mummy Homestead. It's a bit of a rainy old day today, so I'm in the kitchen. And you'll see I look like a bit of a dinosaur at the moment because that bee bite from yesterday's come up in a massive lump. So my face looks weird, just excuse my face today. So I thought I'd come in the kitchen and show you what I do for meal prepping. I have a largish family. We have 3 daughters who live with us, my husband and I have 2 stepkids that come occasionally. So my husband and I are both shift workers, so there's quite often nights where either one of us isn't home, so I find I really have to prep really well, or else we end up buying rubbish and junk food, or the kids don't get vegetables, or they just eat crap. So I have been doing this for quite a while, where I prep my meals in advance, usually either every week or every fortnight. For the last couple of months I've been getting meat packs from the butcher instead of buying supermarket meat. It does cost us a little bit more, but I find it's better quality, so we're eating less of the meat and getting a much better product. So I've just been down to the butcher and I've bought a $200 meat pack, which should get us through about 3 weeks, which I don't think is too bad for our size family. So I'm going to unpack that now and write out a meal plan, and then I'll show you what I do. Okay, so I've sorted my meat into 2 piles. So I've got my pile over here, which is all meat for this week. So for the next 2 or 3 days, I will keep that fresh in the fridge. I won't have to freeze that. As for the rest of the week, I will freeze it in whatever portion I need. So some of these bags will need to be split up and put together. So one night we're having sausages and rissoles, because some of my kids don't like sausages and some of them don't like rissoles, so we have those together. So I'll split that into 2. So what I've got here is my shopping list. It might be back to front for you guys. So I've got my daily meals here, and I just did this on Excel, it's really easy. And I've got my staples here, which are things I buy every week. If I don't need them, I just cross them out. But I print this page out every single week. So here I've written what we're having every night. This may change, we may swap around. So what I tend to do is I freeze my meat down, or I pre-prepare a meal. Say if it's something like beef stroganoff or butter chicken, I'll prepare it all today, prepare it from fresh, and then I will pop it in the freezer in one of these large Glad bags or storage bags, and lay it flat so it defrosts really quickly. And then on the night before I want to use it, I'll get it out and put it in the fridge to defrost, and then when it comes to cooking that night, I just have to reheat. It saves me a lot of time during the week if I do it all on one day. If we're having something like chops, I'll just freeze them in a bag and then take them out the night before and let them defrost in the fridge over the 24 hours. So usually when I'm preparing dinner of a night, I will decide what we're going to have the next night and make sure I get it out of the freezer, or that there's something there. That way I'm not wasting any food. I'm not having fresh food in my fridge going off if I'm prepared. If I'm not prepared and I just go willy-nilly to the supermarket and start buying stuff, we end up wasting a lot of food and stuff goes off in the fridge. So I found doing it this way it saves us a lot of money and it saves us a lot of time. So I'm about to go to the supermarket, so what I'm going to do is pack all this down into its portion sizes and then whack whatever I don't need until later in the week or the following weeks in the freezer. I've always got enough meals in my freezer to last me about a week, so if we ever have a tough week or I can't get to the supermarket or something, there's always meals in the freezer. There's always some food there ready to go if we need it. And I need to do a staples shop this week, just a few little things. So this all cost me $200 for this meat, and it will get us through about 2 to 3 weeks, depending. If I push it out, and we can get to the 3rd week with it, with what we have in the cupboard and in the freezer already. Yeah, so I'm off to do my meal prepping. So I've portioned out some of my meat here. The pork chops and the leg of lamb we're going to have fresh, so I've just left those as they are because I don't need to label them. They're going in the fridge. So these are each for a night. Believe it or not, 2 schnitzels is enough for my little family. We'll have a lot of veggies to go with them, and if I do Parmigiana, it's plenty for 5 people to get 2 big breast schnitzels. So I lay them all flat. Doing it like this instead of in a big lump fits a lot better in the freezer, and it defrosts a lot faster. So if you take the time to actually lay them out nicely, then you're going to win later on. So each of these bags is a night of meals. And I've also got over here, which I haven't packed down yet, I'll just put these in the fridge. I've got some breast fillets, chicken fillets, and a couple of kilos of mince. I will make I think half of this bag I'll make bolognese and half tacos. Out of this one I'll make a big lot of lasagna, enough for a couple of nights. 2 or 3 nights I'll get out of that. And I've got some steak here which my husband and I will probably have for one of our lunches when we're home one day together, because it's the only time we really get to spend together. So I'm just going to pop them in the fridge for now, and I'll do those when I get home from doing my big grocery shop, which I'm about to go and do now. I'll see you when I get back. Hey guys, I'm back from doing my grocery shopping at the supermarket. I spent $141, which is fairly typical for us. I budget about $300 a week for our food and toiletries and all that sort of stuff, and it typically works out all right. That's normal for our family. Every family is different, so I'm not going to say that that's right for you, but this is just what we end up spending. So with the $200 meat pack, which will get us at least 2 weeks worth of meat, so $100 a week, plus our $140 grocery shop, and I always, no matter how much fruit and vegetables I buy, I always end up going back through the week for fruit and veg. I've bought boxes and boxes of veg in the past and fruit, and we've still managed to go through it. If it's there, my kids will eat it. So I can never buy more than about 3 or 4 days worth in a time, at one time without having to go back for more. So I've got, what, $60 to play with for the rest of the week. I won't spend all that, but we can use it on other stuff. I just wanted to have a quick talk to you about tomato sauce, passata, bolognese sauce, whatever you want to call it. Yes, I buy it. I used to be a chef, and people often ask me if I make my own. I have done, I do sometimes, but for me it's about priorities. My time is worth more to me than often than buying it. By the time you buy the tomatoes and all the other ingredients, onions, basil, whatever, unless you're growing those things in your garden and you have a big glut of them, there's no point because it costs the same as buying tomato sauce in the jar. And plus, it takes up so much time. It would take me an entire day to make a pot of passata, which may last me 2 months if I'm lucky. So for me, I buy it unless I get a glut of tomatoes, which I probably won't this year. My tomato plants aren't doing great, so it's just a question I get asked all the time, so I thought I'd answer that. Most other stuff I do make myself. There are some things that are more convenient for me to buy, like I do buy a stroganoff sauce because I like to slow cook it. If I'm making stroganoff from scratch to have that evening straight away, then I'll make it. But if I'm going to put it in the slow cooker, I buy a sauce from the supermarket just because it's easier and quicker, and I'm often not home in the evenings because I work, so it's easier for my family if I put it in the slow cooker and then it's just ready to dish up at tea time. Same with butter chicken. If I'm gonna make it to eat straight away, I will make it. Otherwise, I just use that out of a jar if I'm putting it in the slow cooker, which is what I do a majority of the time just because it's convenient for our family. I don't like having all those preservatives, but sometimes you've just got to give a little bit, and that's just the way our family works. I would love to make everything from scratch all the time, but realistically, our lives are just that we don't have the time always. So I'm gonna get on now. I have to go pick up my kids from school very soon, but I'm gonna try to get some of my ingredients cut up to meal prep for the rest of the week before I go. And I've got to get all these groceries put away too. So I've just done all my meal prepping for the coming week. So I've made some bolognese, some taco meat, and some butter chicken. Yes, the butter chicken is out of a jar. I don't care. And I just wanted to show you my shopping list again, just so you could see properly. Trying to get it so you can see it. So what I've done is I've put columns. So everything's sorted out into either grocery, dairy, fruit and veg, or meat. And I really should have done another one that says deli, but because I often buy cold meat and things from the deli. But I usually just write that on there. This helps me when I'm going around the supermarket because then I can get everything that's in that section at once and I'm not running back and forth to the different aisles. I don't usually write a list for fruit and veg, a comprehensive list, because I just buy whatever's either on special or in season, or both, just because that's what I like to use. There's no point spending $13 a kilo for nectarines in the middle of winter. It just doesn't make sense. So unless I need something special, like if I need mushrooms for stroganoff, I'll write that on there because that's something I know I'm going to need. Or if the kids desperately want, say, Brussels sprouts or something, my oldest daughter loves Brussels sprouts, then I'll put that on the list. Other than that, I will just grab whatever's in season or looks the best. We always buy milk every fortnight. We always need butter and cereal. But other than that, I just write, I print one of these out, say today for next week, and anytime I think of something, I'll write it on the list, or anytime the kids think of something, they'll write it on the list or tell me. I'm still trying to train my husband to do it. He's not very good at telling me what he needs. This saves me running back and forth to the supermarket 50 times. I try to only go twice a week. I always have to go back for fruit and veg, but hopefully I will only have to do that once this week. I will try to put, I'm not sure if I can put a link to this in the description. If I can, I will. If not, it's easy enough to create your own on Excel. It took me maybe 10 minutes to suit your own needs. So for us, I have it from Thursday to Thursday because Thursday's our payday, and that's what works for us. You could do it from whatever day you like. You'll notice I did change it this week because I remembered that my youngest daughter asked me for pasta this morning, so we're having pasta tonight. And so now I just need to put these in bags just like I did with the meat. So I'll wait till they cool down and then I'll put them in those big bags and lay them flat. I'll put these out in the back freezer. We've got another freezer out the back where all our cooked meals go. In the front freezer we usually have all our raw food. So I'll lay these flat, and when they're laid flat they easily defrost in the fridge within 24 hours. If they're in a big bunch and they're not laid flat, then usually they're not quite defrosted in time, so I really like to do that. Another thing I wanted to say is please excuse my dodgy kitchen. This is the last thing in the house we have left to renovate. We've done nearly everything else, so the kitchen's sort of it's pretty dodgy. It was like this when we moved in. The oddly painted walls and the cupboards that are up way too high that I can barely reach. So whenever I'm doing videos in my kitchen, please just ignore it until we get it fixed. That's something we're saving for at the moment, so that's next on our list to get repaired in our house. So I think that's all for today. If you have any questions or suggestions about meal prepping, the other thing I did want to say is one of the most basic things when you go to the supermarket and do grocery shopping, don't go when you're hungry. Make sure you have lunch before you go, and you have a drink, or you take a drink with you. If you're hungry and or thirsty, you will buy more crap. You'll buy more convenience foods, you'll buy more sweets. If you don't have it in the house, you're not going to eat it. So if you're not tempted to buy it when you're at the supermarket, you're not going to have that crap in your house. I've learnt this. My weakness is probably ice cream. If I go to the supermarket and I'm starving, I will buy like piles of chocolates and ice creams and just rubbish that I don't need. And if they're not here at, say, 9 o'clock at night when the kids are all in bed, then I'm not going to go out and get them, and I'm not going to eat them. If they're here, I will pig out on them, and it's not necessary. I don't need that. Most of us don't. It's okay to have a treat every now and then. I did buy a block of chocolate for a treat, but I'd only need one block for the week. One of the little blocks. But I don't need to buy, a block of chocolate and a packet of ice creams and a packet of Tim Tams and all that, because if they're there, I'll eat them. That's my hot tip. Don't go hungry, and don't go when you're thirsty, because if you're thirsty, you'll buy soft drinks too. We don't have soft drinks in this house generally. my husband drinks soda water, and I think that's fine. It's just water with fizzy water, but we don't drink sweets. That's just our family and the way we like it. Yeah, so if you've got any questions or comments about meal prepping, please let me know. Sorry about the wobbly camera. Please let me know down in the comments. If you'd like me to do more cooking videos, let me know. I do cook from scratch sometimes. It may not look like it today, but most of the time I do cook from scratch and not just use jars. So if you want some recipes and some cooking videos, let me know. Thanks for watching.